had the side, and they had the top on and everything.
Okay.
And Morris Staggers told us to catch a bunch of mice and put them in there. Well, we did. The next morning, all the snakes were dead. You remember?
The mice killed the snake.
The mice?
The mice killed the snakes. They couldn't eat them fast enough.
You got too many.
Yeah. He said catch a whole bunch of them out of the granary. So we did. And we just took them down and threw them in the free zoo thing. It was a free zoo, but it was a trap for tourists.
So what would they do with the snakes or whatever?
With the what?
What would he do as a tourist trap?
Okay, they had all kinds of animals: mink, otter, all kinds, snakes and wolves and coyotes, and they had cages all the way around. They
get people to bet on them.
I'm telling this story.
Yeah.
They take the tourists back into the back end, and they'd get them into a room, and they'd have some games there, and they'd take their money.
Oh my goodness. But the lure was these rattlesnakes. Come see the rattlesnakes.
The lure was rattlesnakes, all of the.
Oh.
It's a free zoo about 10 miles off. Free zoo here, all the way in.
You know, if he changed that from my dad to your grandfather.
I had to get this off of me. Anyway, your grandfather went on a hunting trip with Morris Staggers and 3 other people. And my dad had a 25-35, which is not a very big gun. It's like a 30-30, only it's about the same as a 30-30. But anyway, the rest of them had 30-06s, 270s, and all that. Well, Morris Stagger was real mad. And he said, I ought to just kill you. My dad says, you be dead or I am.
Wait, why was he so mad?
Huh?
Why was he so mad?
Because he thought that Dad would wound all of the elk and they'd get away. Well, I'll tell you the other part of the story. He killed 4 elk and he was the only one to kill them.
Oh. So your dad was able to actually kill him? Yeah,
he killed 4 elk with his 25-35. And he was the only one out of the whole group that got any elk.
Oh, I thought you.
Wow.
We get a boat and we do this eating place, and I used to stand up and you'd catch some big fish out of that just by casting.
By casting what?
Well, it was better if you could cast with a fly. You remember that?
Woolly Worms, Cliff Lake.
Yeah. I can't remember the lake.
Cliff Lake.
What?
Cliff Lake.
Cliff Lake was the name. There was Cliff, Wade, and Hidden Lake. The 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, these guys, I was pretty small. We'd go and rent a boat. We were camped. There's always rent a boat. That's where I learned to row because they made me do all the damn rowing.
What?
That's a fact.
I believe it.
No, he was too little.
I believe it.
What did you say?
You made me do all the rowing. I was 11, 12 years old. Yeah. And I learned to row.
If we could go back where there wasn't so stuff you could.
I know you guys don't remember.
Remember, I mean, the thing I have about Morris Staggers that he said was that you guys were like 9 and 11 or 10 and 12 or something one time when you went hitchhiking, and you hitchhiked all the way from Butte all the way to Morris Staggers' place.
Yeah, and we stopped in Virginia City.
Oh, and got put in the jail.
They put us in jail.
They put us in jail.
They called. We weren't 10 and 11, but we were a little older.
Were you older? Okay.
a year or two. But anyway, they called Dad to see if we were running, or Mom to see if we were running.
Yeah. And then he let you sleep in the cell.
We got a free meal and the bed.
Hey, you didn't need a hotel that night.
No, well, there wasn't any hotels
Yeah.
in those days.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't hear you.
You said the fish were bigger where? The fish were bigger in some.
Along the edge of the lake.
Oh.
No, not in the middle. They were bigger.
Was that, you remember what it was called? Antelope Arm? Antelope
yeah.
Arm?
Yeah, that's
Used
where we
to go way up that lake. There's a place, do you remember? Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, I don't know nothing.
Like you said,
I
they've
wasn't
all
there to
forgotten.
tell me.
They've forgotten now.
They forgot. They didn't think I was there.
Okay.
Bob and I have a motorboat now. We don't need him to come and mow.
Well, that's why I went. That's why I was so proficient in my job in the military.
Okay.
The officer was really good to me. And had been, this day and age, they'd have threw me in the brig and threw the key away.
Oh.
Now those days it was a little different. I jumped ship twice.
Wait, you
You
jumped
did?
off the ship into the
Jumped
water?
ship- no. I
Drew.
Wait.
went on Liberty in Sydney, Australia, when I wasn't supposed to go on Liberty. I was supposed to have duty that night. Got to New Zealand, I had a 72-hour pass, but I decided to extend it, and I was supposed to come back for 24, so it wound up being a 96-hour pass. I was supposed to come back for shore patrol duty, I didn't. So my punishment was for that was I had shore patrol in Punta Arenas, Chile, the southernmost tip of South America. And that was not a nice place.
Oh.
And it was a communist country in them days, and it was different, but it was fun. I'll never forget it. But in Australia, I had a captain's mast actually.
You had a cabin's what?
Captain's
Captain.
mast.
Mast.
Captain mast, M-A-S-T.
Yeah, what?
And captain looks at me, and actually it was executive officer. He looked at me and said, "Well, you're restricted till we get to New Caledonia. You're restricted to the ship until we get to New Caledonia." Well, there wasn't any place to get off unless you wanted to jump into the Great Barrier Reef, and so there was no punishment.
Wow.
As such, that was my punishment.
Were you drafted or did you join?
No, I volunteered.
Huh?
I volunteered.
In the Navy?
No, God, no. Hell, Navy. Yeah,
We came
he
back.
got caught.
Were you in the military too?
Of course, I was in the Navy 4 years.
Okay.
Anyway, we came back from setting the H-bomb off in Kennewick, Marshall Islands. We set 2 of them off, 52 and 54. Operation, if you ever want to look at it, pull up Operation Ivy on YouTube.
Operation Ivy.
And Castle.
And what?
C-A-S-T-L-E.
Okay.
Castle. And it tells you all about it. In fact, my name's on it. I've got 6. There's 4 other gunner's mate and myself and 1 other job set up 12 3-inch 50 guns on the island. They shot off at the same time as the H-bomb blew up. And
Wow.
they were tracking them in the mushroom cloud. And
That's why you had cancer.
that's how I had the cancer. My dad.
Really?
Yeah, from the fallout.
Wow.
Anyway, we were coming back from there, and we had Liberty in San Francisco. And the exec says, "Now don't anybody extend their leave or be late."
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make it back to
I heard that.
Before they got underway.
I could see it going down to the harbor, going up to Seattle.
No.
Was that
So then what happened?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
We could, it was going to San Diego, not Seattle.
Okay.
Anyway, it was going out of port at San Francisco area, and I didn't know what to do. So I had money enough for a bus ticket. So I went to the bus depot, and I was going to get a bus ticket to San Diego. And I stood in line, and I saw this gentleman over there, and he had 7 gold stripes on his arm. And there was people that was on Liberty, so I thought he probably was. I said, "Oh, you're on Liberty." He said, "No, you didn't miss that."
Missed the same.
Oh no.
he missed the ship too?
So when I got back to, I saw the ship coming in to San Diego and got on it.
What? They never knew?
Oh, of course they knew.
Okay.
Of course they knew. Yeah, I got on it, and the exec confined us to no Liberty, of course. And so anyway, they called an exec mass, and the only 2 that missed the ship was me and this chief petty officer, who was very young.
Yes.
I was second class. He was chief petty officer. And sorry.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. He's going to finish the story. Keep going.
Sorry. So anyway, the exec called us up and he says, "We're going to have mass." So about a week later, I was restricted, and so was the other, the chief petty officer. And so we had an executive mass, and that's under the captain. So he's one under. Anyway, so we went and had the executive mass, and he said, "What do you got to say for yourself?" I said, "Well, I missed the ship. I guess what you should do is bust me."
Oh, what'd you have?
He didn't have any stripes, right?
I had 2 stripes.
Oh, you had 2.
Oh yeah. So he sent us on our way. Well, the chief petty officer didn't like that too well, of course. He would have gone down to
Yeah.
first class.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
Oh my goodness.
the exec says, I'm gonna think this over and let you know what I'm gonna do. I've heard nothing since.
Wow.
Because the chief he had 35 years in.
Oh.
Never a blemish on his record.
And he had gold hash marks, which is perfect. Perfect.
And so if you hadn't have been carried on his coattails, you would have been.
Oh, if I'd have been alone, they'd have
Yeah.
had me in the brick.
Wow.
He brought
And we talked with the name of the big guy.
Okay.
Quadulane is very close, but it's all martial islands.
Uh-huh. And what did you have to do with the H-bomb?
I didn't have anything to do except set the guns up that shot off up into the mushroom cloud.
Oh.
At the same time as the bomb went off, they triggered the 3-inch 50 units off that shot up into the mushroom cloud.
And
they
they
took measurements.
they were tracking stuff.
It had sensors on it.
I have
Okay.
no idea. It was
Okay.
for
But this thing
Probably air
shows
movement
that
and
story.
everything.
I actually Googled it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
but it tells
The
the story of
scientists
it.
telling, giving great credit to the gunner's mates that set those up.
Oh.
The scientists.
a lot of people
Oh.
He mentioned them by names.
Wow.
He was on it, yeah.
since
That's pretty
Exactly.
incredible.
this is where this
Yeah.
Found
they
out
got
too.
trouble.
That's got to be crazy when you find
I
that
didn't
out
hear
all those
about
years
Well, yeah,
ago.
I knew about it because Bob and Billy told me about it. But I Googled
we were all
it,
told
and I
that.
found it too, so you
No.
probably should be.
There were several ships
Yeah.
out there, and we were the ones where they had the admiral on their ship.
Wow.
So did you get any?
Yeah, we did a few times to get supply ships to open up
Oh,
McMurdo
Did you say that the
Channel into McMurdo Sound
oh,
so that supply ships could get in there and supply the bases? And
okay.
then we'd open that up and keep it open until we had.
Are you the one that said, maybe it was our son said that when they got the place there, there's lots of moose, and if a moose came along on the highway, the Indians that have these guns, and they'd shoot one if he topped them because they're awful.
Where, Dad? What are you talking about? Where?
We were talking about Antarctica, and you're talking about moose.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah, yeah.
He couldn't hear.
That's all right.
I can't tell you.
No,
Bet
most
you
of my
weren't- I bet you weren't dressed like that when you went down there.
well, on the way back we stopped in back in New Zealand. Spent quite a bit of time in New Zealand and Australia, New Caledonia, Fiji. We went to Tahiti, went to the American Samoa, a lot of different places like that.
Mm.
Footers were right in the middle of it too, Gene.
The what?
82-foot patrol boats, river patrol boats, river rats. They were called river rats,
Yeah.
and they did the same things as the Navy Swift boats. They were called, only they were more productive. The 82-footers could do more than the Swift boats, and
But
so they were there in
They were
Vietnam.
shot at by.
Yeah, I lost a couple of real good friends of mine in Vietnam on 82-footers. Michael Painter was one. He was from Moscow, Idaho, and I knew him in Dixie. He was up there with Dixie because he was with Miles and Clyde Painter, and I knew him. And he was killed in Vietnam. He was in the Coast Guard,
In the Coast Guard.
and he was killed in Vietnam.
Wow.
And those were, they shot him from the,
He took a direct hit on the they had what they called a quad 50 with I think it was 74 millimeter cannon. It was combined. It was an invention by the Coast Guard, and it actually fired mortars, but it also had 50 caliber machine guns mounted.
what was that, the ones they brought from Russia to do that?
No, this was Americans. This was the Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard.
Well, I thought they knocked out those people with the Russians. You know,
No, what they did mostly was they kept North Vietnamese from infiltrating the coast of South Vietnam. They boarded over 250,000 junks during the time they were there. 250,000 junks, Chinese junks, Vietnamese junks. And you didn't know what was going to happen when you were boarding these junks. Whether they were hauling contraband or hauling supplies for the Viet Cong or what. And so, in fact, before they went to Vietnam, they had to go to Camp Pendleton, California. In the Marine Corps, they went through a school of escape and evade, it was called. And the school was just like you were in a prisoner of war camp in Vietnam. And they locked these guys in cages, and they were supposed to try to escape and evade. Well, that was impossible, and they were just treated real bad for about 7 days. And they were allowed to escape one time, but of course they were caught and punished. And, this was in Camp Pendleton, by the way.
Wow.
Right in the Camp Pendleton.
And a lot of tin cans. You know what tin
Destroyers.
No.
cans? Destroyers. my dear.
A destroyer is a tin
Yeah.
can?
Yeah.
They call them that, aren't they the ones that did the
Yeah.
They
50
call them
gallon
that
drum?
because they sink pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
And one of them did and lost. It didn't sink, but it hit a mine and blew the back end off and killed probably 30 or 40 sailors. Anyway, it was the 77th Task Force in Korea. And it's still going, I'm sure, that 77th Task Force. Not with the same ship. You know.
There's
Politicians only
Bill, you knew
do
about
anything.
what happened to the new Bonhomme Richards, don't you? The new one?
Yes, I did.
It went, it caught fire and burned,
Yeah,
and they're not salvaging it at all.
I know.
That just happened within the last year
oh, wow.
in San Diego.
And it was
Wow.
a lot bigger.
A lot bigger
ship
than
than I
it
had.
was.
Didn't you have a few who
No.
had her off and didn't make
My
it?
ship was
So
called
had
the
to have
Coast
to go
Guard
down
Cutter
and-
Glacier.
Yes, Jane.
Glacier.
We had a catapult.
Ah.
We went
She's got
north
here,
too,
yes.
by the way, into the Arctic. And
Rather than flying down the deck because there were all planes behind it.
Oh.
And if you go 100 miles an hour, the ships would go up, most of them. But a few of them, not a few, maybe 5 or 6, went off and right in front of the carrier, and they had to do the evasive thing instantly so they didn't run over
The
the
pilot?
plane and
Yeah.
the individual. Yeah.
Wow.
Did
They-
they get any? of
It
those-
wasn't jets, it was FRUs that were not making it.
Did you get any
Yours?
flyers? Did they get them?
Did they kill flyers?
Or did you get? Were they dead?
too. We went up one time while they were on the Ore Grande Creek. They just finished the A-frame cabinet had been done for a while. But I went up, Stacy was a baby, and we were sleeping in a tent. We brought our tent because Brenda was there, and we just brought our tent and we were sleeping in the tent. Well, he decides for us to go out. We needed some help, mate. So we get in my Volkswagen. We had a Volkswagen hatch fastback. Remember the old fastbacks? We get in the Volkswagen. We go up past these old cabins that was owned by a logger in that country. You know, can't remember his name. I knew him very well. And anyway, here's a bunch of elk, and so I'm gonna get that son of a gun.
Yeah.
So and it was only about from here to the door away, and he
Oh.
shoots, and I said, "You missed." He says, "The hell I did. You think I was shooting that one in the open? I shot the one up in the tree in case somebody drove by." And he did.
Oh,
He shot
my
one-
goodness.
And we were up there gutting it out. Terry Nix was with us.
Was he?
Yes. And we're dressing that elk out and quartering it, putting it in that Volkswagen fastback. Here comes a herd of cows down the road, and these people moved right into those cabins. And Dad knew them. But here we are back up in the timber with the fastback Volkswagen. And we piled that meat in the back of and the front of the seats of the car and everything, and under the hood, and got Terry Nix in the back of the meat, on top of the meat to hold it down. To hold it down. No, yeah. And anyway, we waited till dark, and soon because the dogs were raising hell. The dogs were just barking from that cow camp. They were just, and you know, they never come up and checked. But anyway, so when it got dark enough, I just put it into gear, and we flew out past those cabins and hit the road and kept going. You know,
Oh, my goodness.
and that was in about middle of July or end of June
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
that's-
You know,
That's the best time to eat.
yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the best time to eat.
But it's not interesting.
Wow.
It's
Yeah. Well, I want to know about the cabin because I have vague memories of the cabin, but I was only up there, you know, a few times.
I left my heart there and soul.
Oh,
Yeah.
So did your dad build it?
No, the A-frame he did.
The
Huh?
Was that the one up at the gold mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
didn't
the one-
build that. Yeah. No, this is on the, another mining claim actually, where the elk, that particular
That
elk.
should have
came
been
to.
patented, which he was going to do it. He never did it.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember. So, yeah. It was dark, and I drove away. Oh, come back, you said. I said, yeah, when I get to it. And I drove back, and you're up on the road. And we need help getting it out. We need help getting it out. So we did. I helped you get it out. We got it to camp, and then you took care of it from there. You know, got all that meat to camp.
Wait, so what happened? Lance shot a moose?
Shot a moose, yeah.
And why were you mad?
Because it was damn near dark and it was moose season. And if they'd have caught him, especially
Yeah.
being from Utah,
Oh gosh.
it's called the Mann Act. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No.
Transporting game across state lines without a permit. They throw the key away.
Oh.
Remember when Bob Berry shot that elk up on the mountain?
Yep,
And we took,
pitch black.
there's guys, 6 guys, and they hauled that elk down through the rocks and everything. And he was still in the car, and I can't
Pickup. I had a truck. I didn't have a
Truck.
car.
Did
I
you-
had a Ford, 3/4 ton Ford.
Did they load the stuff in yours?
I had, yeah, mine was the only one there. I had a broken hand. From something that happened out at the mine. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't hold a knife or anything.
Wow.
I had a broken hand. But
Wow.
yeah, that's a different story. Bob Berry was,
Bob
him and I were
Berry,
just as
Shirley
close as
sold
my
the stuff.
brother.
Oh.
Because he was close to my age. Bob,
Oh.
Shirley's son, Bob Berry.
Oh, okay.
And we were very close, actually. We were driving up the road, and he sees these elk up in the draw, and he said, well, I'll get out and go up there. So he gets up, and I drive around the mountain and come around like this. Pretty soon, Bob comes out and gets in the car. I didn't hear any shots. And anyway, we started
Oh,
driving
he's
away,
one
and
that shot. You shot with a,
22 mag,
huh?
a 22 mag,
Yeah. And that's a little,
22 mag. That's what he shot.
she shot elk at the same time, but they lifted.
No, there was Bob Berry was the only one there, Gene. And me. And me.
I know.
And me.
We had a few people that.
Well, when we went back to camp and got you guys. We brought you back up there. Yeah, we brought you and Terry Nix, and Bob went back up and got that elk. First of all, he told me he didn't not get one, but then he says, "Yeah, he did. I killed a big cow," and he did with that 22 mag. I said, "Well, you better take care of the damn meat." So we went up and Bob and I went back to camp, got him, and Terry Nix, and went back up there. And